Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video session on monthly policy review, which is released by PRS Legislative Research. And I'll be discussing MPR, commonly known as MPR or monthly policy review for the month of September. Why for the month of September? Because the entire part of the analysis come at the month end. तो उसकी जो release है वो अक्टूबर में की जाती है. 1st of October it was released, so we are discussing everything in detail that is relevant from the examination point of view. This session will be helpful for all the aspirants who will be appearing for civil services examination. It will contribute both in prelims and mains examination, and even if you're appearing for other state PCS and other banking examination, they will substantially contribute and help you in getting the other foundation clear. So without any further ado, let's get started. And before I begin, I would just like to tell you the series of monthly policy review, the monthly initiative of monthly policy review is actually looking into the various aspects of government programs and policies. So let's get started and understand the important MPR details for the month of September. And starting the discussion with the first topic, that is E-Court Phase 3. This is something that will help to augment the part of judiciary. और अगर judiciary की बात करें, the 3 level of the judiciary will actually be augmented, starting from the Supreme Court, then the High Court, and the lower judiciary, right? So the lower court or the lower judiciary will actually be coming under the E-Court project, will call for more revamping and transparency that has to be incorporated within the judiciary. So let's understand what is this E-Court project phase 3. So the Union Cabinet has actually approved this project, and this will be a center sector scheme which was approved by the Cabinet. So this is a CSS scheme which was approved actually for 2023 till 27. तो ये टाइम फ्रेम रखी गई है जिस बीच में सारे कोर्ट्स में ओवरऑल ई कोड बनाने की कोशिश की जाएगी. The project has received the financial outlay of 7,210 crore rupees to augment further of pan-India. This is going to work. E-Court project was initiated in 2007 to digitally enable the Indian judiciary. As I've told you, this will help to maintain the part of judiciary and even to bring the part of digitalization both in the Supreme Court, High Court, and the lower judiciary or the lower courts. Now, what is the aim of this project? First and foremost, the phase 3 that has been brought in will create a unified technology platform. Along with this, it will facilitate the paperless interference, and this will include the court, litigants, and other stakeholders. तो पूरी तरह से paperless बनाने की कोशिश की गई है, and the thing will ensure that the accountability will also be set. The transparency will be the highmost priority. Now, अगर E-Court project की बात करें, this is a giant leap towards democratizing the part of Indian judiciary. कुछ important components जो हैं, first is among this will be calling for the paperless judiciary, software development, the solar power backup that need to be ensured in the building infrastructure, video conferencing setup, because post-COVID we have seen that the part of video conferencing has become very important. E-filing allow की जाएगी, उसके साथ साथ connectivity with the primary and redundancy will be there. So these are the important aspects of the phase 3 in the E-Court projects. Now क्या ऑब्जेक्टिव है? As I've told you, first to have a digitalization, पूरी तरह से डिजिटल करने की कोशिश की जा रही है with the court. Apart from this, the total budget allocation which is there, I mean the 28% budget allocation which is there is estimated to be spent on scanning, digitalization and digital preservation of the record. So जो courts में जो record होती हैं, that will be also ensure कि वो digital form में रखी जाए, right? Cloud infrastructure भी develop करने की कोशिश की जाएगी इसके through, and 17% of the amount will be spent in the cloud infrastructure. Now this is expected to give some potential result. First, providing judicial services to citizens without technology access via e-सेवा केंद्र. तो e-सेवा केंद्र ऐसे लोगों की मदद करेगी जो कि they are looking forward to file an e-applications or e-filing of that. Enable the payment of court fines and even fine from anywhere across the country. तो pan India आप कहीं भी इसी तरह से अपने फाइन को भर पाएंगे चालान भरने के लिए. You don't need to reach out to the court premises. And minimizing the paperwork in the court filing is the other important objective of the E-Court Project 3. Now, the other important topic is the National Strategy on Robotics. एक draft plan government ने release किया है for public comment. Now this is again something very important. जिस तरह से AI की चीज़ें बढ़ रही है, we have machine learning and other artificial intelligence coming. So national strategy on robotics has also become significant. Now, Ministry of Electronics and IT ने release की है draft strategy. It seeks to promote adaptations of robotic technology in the country. Specifically India की अगर बात करें, इस तरह की कोई टेक्नोलॉजी के लिए पॉलिसी जो है अभी तक नहीं थी. Now this will be something new which will be coming with the part of regulation for the robotic sectors. It will identify the manufacturing, the healthcare, agriculture, national security, and even the adaptations for the robotics in India. Now, इस पर्टिकुलर इनिशिएटिव्स के थ्रू कुछ की चैलेंजेस एड्रेस करने की कोशिश करेगी गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया दैट इंक्लूड द हेवी रिलायंस ऑन इम्पोर्ट. सो वी हैव टू reduce our import drastically. Lack of skilled human resources will again be there through robotics. High cost will be reduced and limited governance mechanism will be ensured. So this is how in these key parameters it will actually work. Now कुछ की recommendations की अगर बात करें इस particular draft में, first it called for steps to improve the domestic capabilities. जो इंडिया की domestic capabilities हैं, जो innovations हैं, उसको improve करने की ज़रूरत है in terms of robotics development. Then we need an institutional framework जहाँ पे national robotic missions के through there will be establishment of encouraging collaborations between industries, academia और startup. तो कई ऐसे यूनिवर्सिटी लेवल पे भी चीज़ों में काम की जाएगी. द स्टार्टअप will be giving their shared opinion. Robotics Innovation Units, this is known as RIU, this will be developed to set up within the Ministry of Electronics and IT. इसके साथ साथ the potential entity will be nurturing the innovations, facility development and even driving for the adaptations. So these are some of the key recommendations which is there. अगर आपसे मेंस एग्जामिनेशन में कुछ पूछा जाए तो आप इस तरह के recommendations वहाँ पे mention कर पाएंगे. Now, some other details about the recommendations of different aspect on the key strategy. I mean, you can take this screenshot for revision purposes. The first pillar called for research and development. These are the other areas of interventions. Demonstrating and testing will be the other area. Commercializing the innovation and supply chain and adopting the awareness. तो ये कुछ उनके subsections हैं और ये interventions हैं जिन पे actually में काम. Now, regulations dark pattern in e-commerce. Now, e-commerce is something which has been a great giant in India. और dark pattern के जिस तरह से दायरे बड़े हैं, government has come up with the regulation in this regard. Now, this will help government to control the overall part of regulations in e-commerce. So, what is that? The Ministry of Consumer Affairs Ministry ने actually ये draft release किया है with terms of regulations the dark pattern 2023 is a rule. And this pattern, I mean, if you look at the part of definition of dark pattern, what exactly is dark pattern? It refers to the praxis or deceptive pattern which with user interface is being used. किसी भी तरह से mislead, tricking और clickbait use की जाती है ताकि individual जो customer है उसे unintended ये चीजें click करवाई जाए. The pattern impair the part of consumer autonomy, even the decision making is impacted, and the amount for misleading and unfair trade practices are taking place, right? So let's understand the key features. I mean, if you talk about the dark pattern, engaging in the dark pattern will be completely prohibited. और guideline ने कुछ prohibitions की बात की गई है. Where this will apply? It will apply to all platform that is offering goods and services, be it from any e-commerce site like Amazon, Flipkart, or any e-commerce site that is operating in India. ये सारे जगह पे operational होंगी. Advertisers and the seller. These all three categories will be included in this. The Consumer Protections Authority will be established. This is known as CCPA. This will look into the part of aspect जहाँ पे Consumer Protection Act 2019 के through जो ambiguities हैं उसके dispute resolutions में मदद करेंगी. It will also comply with the directions of the things जहाँ पे punishable offence पे रखी गई है and the amount, the penalty amount will be close to 2 lakh rupees which can be imposed if the violation is made. Now you can see the part of dark pattern which is actually existing. कुछ fall urgency है एक pattern, दूसरी pattern है basket sneaking and third is confirm shaming. So what is fall urgency? किसी भी तरह से fall urgency की बात करें, it create a sense of scarcity और आपको impulsive buying पे basically they provoke it. Now what is basket sneaking? It include the additional item, right? Giving you the part of checkout options without the consent, and this is called the basket skinning. And confirm shaming is something using a phrase using video, audio, and other means to create a sense of fear, shame, and guilt, and this creates the suspicion in the mind of the consumer and they ultimately land up to buying the product. तो ये कुछ डार्क पैटर्न्स हैं जो कि ई कॉमर्स साइट्स पे एक्चुअली में यूज किए जाते हैं. Now, Committee on Simultaneous Election. Recently गवर्नमेंट ने simultaneous elections को लेकर के कमिटी बनाई है. You need to know the facts about this as well. So the central government has constituted a high-level committee to examine the recommendations on the simultaneous election. You can better call it one nation, one election. And this elections will call for the election both in Lok Sabha, the state legislative assembly, and for the local bodies. So 3 bodies elections will be amalgamated in one to ensure that there is no other manpower, finances involved in it. Right? And the composition of the committee that was formed. So this committee comprises of the former President of India, Mr. Ramnath Kovind. He is a chairman. Along with this, the 7 members are also included. Some of the members include the Home Minister, former leader of opposition from Rajya Sabha, and former chairman of 15th Finance Commission. तो ये कुछ members हैं जो कि simultaneous elections में अपने recommendations गवर्नमेंट को सबमिट करेंगे. Now, क्या mandate दी गई है इस कमेटी को? The committee will review and suggest the changes that need to be incorporated in holding the simultaneous election. As I've told you, this will be for the Lok Sabha, the state legislative assembly, and the local bodies assemblies. Right? और ये सारी चीजें Representation of People Act, that is RPA, Representation of People Act 1950 के दायरे में रख के की जाएगी, and the 1951 which call for the actual conduct of the elections, right? And the committee will further suggest some of the important points like suggesting the framework for recognizing the elections, recommending the safeguard to ensure connectivity and simultaneous elections, examining the manpower requirement, उसके साथ साथ recommending the modalities on single electoral identifying the voters and even the elections. So these are the mandate that is given to the committee that has been actually formed. Now, extended producer responsibility ये काफ़ी important है आपके environment point of view से, जहाँ से government ने कुछ important changes और penal provisions को बढ़ाए हैं. So, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has notified the part of hazardous and other waste management Transboundary Rule 2016. A rule applicable होगी under the Environment Protection Act 1986. Just to correct, this is EPA 1986. Right? This rule was enacted to reduce the hazardous waste and measures the recycle such as waste, and women to participate in fully in all aspects of life. Basically, the part of the thing that has been brought in, बहुत सारे important changes लाए गए हैं, और जो expanded अगर producer responsibility की बात करें उसमें और दायरे में चीज़ों को include की गई. So what are the key features? First, the management of used oil, जो added extended responsible management responsibility लाई गई है. उसके अंदर as per the rule, the oil to be managed through the producer of the re-refined base used for lubricant or oils, energy recovery utilizing the used oil as a fuel, and re-refining the part of removing impurities from oil base and lubrication oil. So now this will lie within the part of the producer. जो producer होगा उसे ये सारी चीजें manage करनी होगी. Now the producer responsibility certificate will be provided under the EPR, right? This need to be registered, and recycling refer to the refining of oil from the energy for the other uses. Certificates will be purchased by the producers on current and previous year liability. तो liability basis पे भी इसे purchase की जा सकती है. Now EPR की targets रखी गई हैं. The rule will have a specific target on yearly import of the base oils, lubrications and other obligations. The producers can take help of the third party recognitions for the dealer, and the import oil permitted for the refinery only, right? ये responsibility होगी producers की कि वो recycle oil को register करवाए और जो environment friendly mechanism है उसके through काम करे. Now registration will be there with the mandate where the collections of the agent, recycling of the oil, target and Central Pollution Control Board के जो regulations हैं उनके through manage की जाएगी. Non-compliances pay, basically there will be penalty which will be there. So the obligation has to be there. Compensation will be provided if things are not yet put in place. And if the penalty is there, this will be again taken care by the Central Board for Pollution. The Pollution Board के लिए जो actual body है, the nodal body will be taking care. And even the rule also established the steering committee headed by the chairperson of the Central Pollution Control Board to report the overseas implementations. Now, the other topic is draft directions for the treatment for willful or large defaulters. आरबीआई ने willful defaulters को लेकर के काफ़ी ज़्यादा concern raise किए हैं. And not only RBI, many other important rating agency has been talking a lot about the NPA. Now, in this particular directions, RBI has said that how the willful defaulter and large defaulter can be actually dealt with. तो क्या गाइडलाइन दी है आरबीआई ने ड्राफ्ट रिलीज किया था ट्रीटमेंट फॉर द विलफुल डिफॉल्टर्स एंड द लार्ज डिफॉल्टर फॉर द पब्लिक फीडबैक. वाई इट वॉज रिलीज बिकॉज रिसेंटली वी हैव सीन कि कुछ डिफॉल्टर्स के साथ मिसबिहेव हुई है और आरबीआई ने स्ट्रिक्ट एडरेंस कहा है कि इस रूल को करने की जरूरत है बिकॉज द मनी दैट हैज टू बी ब्रॉट इन बाय द डिफॉल्ट और इंडेट हैज टू बी देयर विद इन द रूल विद इन द एम्बिट. तो ये डायरेक्शन सीक्स करेंगे टू प्रोवाइड द क्लासिफिकेशंस ऑफ द बोरोवर हु वाज willful defaulter by the lenders. Willful defaulter, I think definition is very common. Those who are willingly not willing to pay the amount. और इसमें willful की लिमिट रखी गई है 25 लाख रुपीस तक. The last defaulter will have outstanding amount of 1 crore rupees. So for large defaulter it will be 1 CR and for the normal defaulter will be 25 lakh rupees. And if this amount default, they will be called as a willful defaulter. The approach will be made to them to make the repayment, and if the repayment is not made, they will be counted as a willful defaulters. Now, identifications of willful defaulters की अगर बात करें, the evidence of willful defaulters will be examined by the identifications committee. एक कमिटी बनाई जाएगी जो कि examine करेगी whether they are willful defaulters or not. The borrowers will be given the opportunity to represent and review the committee set up by the lenders, and review will also be there for the part of opportunity for hearing. तो एक उनको मौका दिया जाएगा कि वो अब अपने रेजोल्यूशंस करवा पाए. इवन आउट ऑफ द कोर्ट द सेटलमेंट इज डेफिनेटली देयर विद इन द लेंडर्स एंड द बायर्स, द जो बोरोवर्स हैं उनके. द मेजर्स ऑफ द विलफुल डिफॉल्टर्स की बात करें, लेंडर में इनिशिएट द क्रिमिनल प्रोसीडिंग्स अगेंस्ट द विलफुल डिफॉल्टर इफ वारंटेड. अगर अमाउंट ज़्यादा है तो उनके खिलाफ क्रिमिनल केसेस के लिए भी प्रोसीडिंग की जा सकती है. द विलफुल डिफॉल्टर में नॉट बी एलिजिबल फॉर रिस्ट्रक्चरिंग ऑफ द क्रेडिट फैसिलिटी बिकॉज the CIBIL will be hugely impacted और उनको बाद में किसी भी तरह की कोई क्रेडिट फैसिलिटी नहीं दी जाएगी. Now this was all about for the discussion. I hope you like this. We'll meet in the next session of the PRS, and these compilation are really helpful for the mains examination, specifically General Studies paper 2 and paper 3. If you have any other concern about test series, programs and admissions, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching.